I've had a little bit of time here to sit here and think about this Chiefs game today against the Denver Broncos. A couple things, and I haven't made a Chiefs video in a while. I didn't make any content last year in 2024 when they went 15-2. I was in a new position at work. I was busy in the personal life, and I haven't made any really content this year either. Kind of got away from doing that after they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Um, But I wanted to jump on here and just, I guess, just get my some of my thoughts out because I'm not on Facebook anymore. I don't post there. I deleted my account or deactivated my account there, and but I think this is a turning point for the Chiefs and their organization. And I'm gonna have to go back and really kind of look and study the New England Patriots and see what they did um, during their run because there were a couple years where they didn't make the playoffs. And of course, they had to retool their team several times, and the consistent all those years was Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Um, Kind of like how the Chiefs have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but they didn't have the same coaches. All the years they had a lot of the same coaches, and having the same coaching staff, there's a lot of benefits to that, but there's also some downsides to that. So again, I'm just here on my phone, sitting in my basement, just trying to come to my some kind of understanding of where the Chiefs are, a place where we haven't really seen them in since the start of the Mahomes era when he took over as the starter in the 2018 season. Now, I could offer lots of perspective on the Chiefs, and I could start bringing up the Damon Heward days, the Tyler Thigpen days, the Lynn Elliott data, Elvis Gerbach, Steve Bono, even while Montana won some games and made a championship game, if you go back and really look, Montana wasn't the greatest quarterback for the Chiefs either. Um, there's just a lot that we have to put in perspective when it comes to the Chiefs. And, me being 46 years old, I saw a whole lot of bad football over the years. And what do we see now? We see a team that is 0 and 5 in one score games, and last year they were 11 and 0. And last year we talked about, when I say we, I'm talking about the experts. The experts said last year, hey, that'll even out over time. And I didn't think it would be this dramatic. The thing is that when they win the games they've won this year, the 5 games they've won, they've blown teams out. And then the 5 losses, which are 4 of the 5, are two playoff teams or teams that are currently in the playoff field. If the season were to end today, they are they've lost all of those games. Now you can go back and break all those games down and find individual plays and say, well, if they make this play, then they probably win or whatever. But the thing is that anytime you win or lose a close game, you can go back and isolate so many individual plays and say, well, if you do this right, then they would have won the game. You know, I could say this. I could say we could talk about the 99-yard interception return against the Jaguars. We can talk about Kelsey dropping 2 passes in the first 2 weeks of the season. Near the goal line, one that turned into an interception. Those 3 plays are reversed. The Chiefs probably have 2 losses. They're probably sitting at 8-2 right now, or heck, the vibes might be different. They might have won today because of that. They may have 1 loss right now. You just don't know how all that's going to turn out. And the problem that the Chiefs have right now is that they got away from who they are in today's game, and that's the frustrating element of it. Um, up and When you looked at the stats, and I don't have the stats here in front of me again, just off the cuff here, but when you look at the stats that showed like success rate, the Chiefs, Kareem Hunt, they were more successful on short yardage plays than the Eagles were with the tush push. And so, what happens on short yardage plays in today's game? They were throwing the ball. One of the plays, they threw a wheel route to Brashard Smith on a third and it was a short two. It was like 1.5 yards almost. I don't understand some of this, and Andy Reid, after a lot of these losses, what he'll end up doing is he'll take the blame. Mahomes, he'll get up in front of the microphones and he'll take the blame. They'll never blame anybody but themselves. They won't throw their teammates under the bus. Andy Reid won't get up there and say Matt Nagy had a bad day, or Steve Spagnola or Spagnolo had a bad day, or Dave Tobe had a bad day. But, sometimes these guys are loyal to a fault. And with the Chiefs now sitting at, you know, 5-5, it's going to be really difficult. I think the division is toast. They still, from a percentage wise, there's still a 10% chance for them to win the West. Denver's going to have to fall apart. I think the Chargers have so many injuries. The Chargers are not playing that well now. And looks like we got some people in the chat. Hey, guys, how's everybody doing? The Chargers aren't playing that well. The Chiefs could track them down. They could finish 12-5 but they have to win the rest of their games to finish 12-5. Is that likely to happen? Probably not. Probably not after the way we saw them play today. Is the dynasty over? Well, that's a much larger question that really can't be answered probably for another several years. In order for a dynasty to be truly over, the elements that contributed to that dynastic period, they either have to stop winning completely or they have to be gone from the team. So are the Chiefs, are they done winning completely? Have they stopped winning completely? No, they haven't. Are Mahomes and Reid gone? No, they're not gone. So we can't answer that question until later. Obviously, they're not going to win the Super Bowl every single year. And me as a Chiefs fan, I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl every year. Heck, I went so many years with just wanting them to make the playoffs and just not embarrass themselves. Every year we were like, man, can we just win 10 games, can make the playoffs? That was the only thing I ever cared about for so many years. You get that little taste of the success though, and winning the Super Bowl in the 2019 season, and you're like, okay, well, what else can we win? Then you win, 3 years later. Then you win the next year. Now all of a sudden you won 3 in 5 years, and then you go for a three-peat and you lose, and by getting blown out. But still, making 3 consecutive Super Bowls is a tremendous feat. 5 of the last 6. No team has done that. So, credit, give lots of props and credit to the organization, but they have to understand where they are now. So many teams are tailored to beat them, to understand what they're doing, and they need more dynamic players on offense. The problem that they have right now from an organizational standpoint is they have so much money tied up in positions that are, in my opinion, are not the most critical positions. Now, Creed Humphrey is probably the best center in the game, and you need a great center, okay? Pay your center, great. But don't sink all your tons and tons of money into a right guard like we did with Trey Smith. Trey Smith should have been traded. They should have gotten draft compensation for him. I'm a huge Nick Bolton fan. I wasn't really that worked up over the Nick Bolton contract, but that's a lot of money to sink into a middle linebacker. And it's gonna be really tough when we want to pay McDuffie after this year. There's only so much restructuring you can do. Now, eventually Travis Kelce will retire and his numbers will come off the book, but we also put all that money into Chris Jones. Honestly, the Chiefs probably should have traded Chris Jones when they had the opportunity and reload with draft picks. That's what the New England Patriots did. They made the hard choices. And they said, we will find new guys, we will coach them up, and we will, go through a transitionary period of time. They had the New England Patriots in 2007, the David Tyree helmet catch notwithstanding. Wasn't that the year that the helmet catch? I think that was the year in the Super Bowl. It was the last catch he ever made in his career. They lost one game. They lost in the Super Bowl. Nearly a perfect season. Still, a tremendous year by the Patriots that year. The next season, they won 11 games but missed the playoffs. It happens. I could see the Chiefs losing one more game this year, going 11-6 and missing the playoffs because of the tiebreaker situation. Losing that game to the Jaguars was horrendous. Losing last week or 2 weeks ago to the Bills was horrendous. Both of those games they should have won. They made mistakes on themselves and lost those games. There's no help coming this year. The team is who they are. This is who they are. Do they go 11? Do they go 11-6? They go 10-7? I don't know. Do they completely fall apart and win 7 games? Probably not. I think Mahomes is too good. I think they still have a good team. I This is one of the things is like the randomness of close games. Like I said, last year was they were 11-0 in these games. They probably should have lost last year to Denver when they were at home when they blocked a field goal. Now they made a tremendous play. It wasn't lucky that they blocked that kick. There was skill involved in it. But they didn't put the game away and they allowed it to be that close. The game that they won against the Raiders at home. Again, that was a game that it bounced their way. The quarterback wasn't expecting the snap to be snapped when it was, and it bounced off his chest, and the Chiefs recovered and kneeled out the game. The game against the Bengals, there was a penalty on a fourth down play that if the Bengals don't commit that penalty, the Chiefs lose that game. And yes, it was a penalty, people. You can't hit the receiver before the pass is thrown or before the ball is there. Again, the game against the Ravens. If Isaiah Likely's toe is not out of bounds, they likely lose, no pun intended, they likely lose that game too. There were so many things that went their way last year, and then this year they're not going their way. But it's penalties, it's self-inflicted things that they're not doing. They're not doing the little things. They're not getting under the. What drives me crazy is when they have a third and short, and they fail to get under center and hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt is more successful on short yardage situations than the Eagles are with the tush push. It's true. Go look it up. Ask Grok right now. Grok, is Kareem Hunt more successful? Yes. Yes, he is than the tush push. Absolutely. Stats don't lie. Well, and the plays themselves. That's what's frustrating about it, is that the Chiefs have they've had some of these games, just right there. And my son and I were texting back and forth. He's at school, and he's only known really winners for the Chiefs since he started following the Chiefs when he was about 12, 13 years old. All he's known is winners for the Chiefs. He's 20 years old now. He's only known them winning football games for the most part, winning Super Bowls. And we were texting back and forth, and when we got the ball back, when the Chiefs got the ball back, and it was 19-16 Chiefs, they got the ball back, and I said, I sent him a text and said, all we need now is we need an 8-minute touchdown drive to salt this game away. And it's funny, Nick Wright on First Things First this week, he even said the game was eerily shaping out to be what Nick Wright said. He said it was probably going to be a really sloppy game, very close game, with the Chiefs up 3 with midway through the fourth quarter, and they'll drive down and score a touchdown to go up 2 scores, towards the end of the game. That's what it was. That it was all set up. It was all set up to do that. And what did the Chiefs do? 3 incomplete passes. Two long, deep passes incomplete, and another incomplete pass over the middle, and they punt. And they were up 19-16. You can't do that. You have to call better plays than that. Get under the center and run the ball. Isaiah Pacheco is not in there. He's hurt right now, but Pacheco sucks anyway. Kareem Hunt at least is a serviceable. He was averaging almost 5 yards a carry in the game today. Give him the ball. Run the ball with Kareem Hunt. You run him on first down, pick up 5 yards. It's 2nd and 5. Run him again on 2nd and 5. If he didn't pick up the first down, he's going to probably pick up 3. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 2. Now you can do anything on 3rd and 2. You could run it again. He's probably going to pick it up. Or you could roll Mahomes out, do a rolling pocket like the Chiefs like to do. Run the slide keys play that Mahomes really loves to run. It's a it's a very highly successful play. What am I trying to say? It's a high percentage play to succeed. Now, Chiefs don't play in a vacuum. Denver's got a tremendous defense, and the Chiefs weren't out there, against a Pop Warner team. Denver, it's like the old saying, so those guys are on scholarship too. Denver's offense, though, was non-existent for most of the game, but I can't blame the Chiefs' defense for bending there in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's just in a game like that, you're going back and forth. I mean, Bo Nix stood up and he made plays when he did. He made plays, and at the end of the game, and Mahomes didn't. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. All right, so I'm a little over 15 minutes here, closing on 16 minutes of this video. I don't want to make it too long. What do the Chiefs do from here? Where do they go? Well, next week, if you thought this game, everyone's talking about a must-win for the Chiefs this week. If next week will definitely be even more of a must-win against the Indianapolis Colts, a team that right now is sitting. They're not on top of the AFC. I think the Broncos are on top of the AFC right now. I think the Colts are now in the third position because I believe the Patriots are in the second position right now. The Colts haven't looked as good over the past 2-3 weeks or so. At least their quarterback play hasn't. Now, Jonathan Taylor has looked like the best running back in football. The Chiefs typically fare pretty decently against the run. But we'll see if they can shut down Jonathan Taylor. They're going to have to win this game. I'm not worried about Daniel Jones. Just kind of like I wasn't worried about Bo Nix. Bo Nix, like I said, he made enough plays today, but in the end of the day, if you hold a team to 22 points by allowing them to kick 5 field goals, you should be able to win that game. Should be able to score more than 19 points. Or should be able to score more than 22 points in a game to win. So next week against the Colts, it's gonna be tough. The Colts have a lot on the line as well. They're trying to hold off the Jags. The Chiefs need to win this game for tiebreaker purposes. If they lose this game, I don't see how they make the playoffs. If they win this game, and then the schedule does get a little easier after that. They go on the road just 4 days later on Thanksgiving Day to play the Cowboys. Again, anything can happen. You go on the road. They should beat the Cowboys. Then they got games against the Texans and against the Titans. Those are games that the Chiefs should win, especially if C.J. Stroud is out for an extended period of time, like it looks like. But even with C.J. Stroud's not the great quarterback people think he is. Davis Mills running that team right now. The Texans are terrible. The Titans are terrible. And then the Chiefs still get the Raiders again. They get the Chargers at home. They get the Broncos at home. Let's say they get the 3 AFC teams: Indianapolis, Dallas, Houston, and I just said it. Houston. Who was the other team? I just said their name. Tennessee. The Chiefs, at minimum, have to go 6-1 to make the playoffs. And the thing is, if they go 6-1 and lose to Indianapolis, they may not make the playoffs. Or if they do, it'll be like the 7th seed. So now it's possible. They could run the table and maybe Denver stubs their toe and they end up, tying with Denver at 12. Maybe they both teams finish 12-5. Or maybe they catch them and Denver just only wins 2 more games in their final. See, Denver only has 6 games left. Maybe Denver goes 2-4. I don't know. Probably not. They're probably going to be better than that. I keep saying that they can't keep winning games like this, but they just keep winning games like this. Like the Chiefs last year. The Chiefs won so many one-score games last year. Sometimes it doesn't catch up with you in the calendar year. Sometimes you have to wait until the following year for it to catch up to you. And it's definitely caught up to the Chiefs. So the bottom line is, guys, the dynasty's not over. We won't know that for a couple more years when we can actually look back in hindsight and see when did the dynasty actually end. Because it will end some point. It'll end at some point. It's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. Because they haven't stopped winning, and Mahomes and Reed are still there. But Andy Reid is going to have to actually do some soul searching here. He's going to have to figure out which of his coaches are holding him back, or is he being too loyal to some of these coaches? The Chiefs' special teams this year has been an absolute train wreck, and that needs to be fixed. They start every drive inside the 25-yard line because Nico Remigio and Tyquan Thornton just can't return the ball. They suck at it. They suck at returns. They are terrible. And the Chiefs are not good at kick coverage either. So, anyway, yeah, it's my thoughts, guys. Sorry for the long video. I'm frustrated, but at the end of the day, I have to have some perspective that I have seen my team win 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls, and they're constantly battling for that, that top team in the in the NFL, um, which is a far cry from most of my life as a Chiefs fan. Up until my 40s. Up until then, it was slim pickings as a Chiefs fan. Chiefs fan, Royals fan, Mizzou fan. Man, I absolutely been in the doldrums most of my life. So, but we'll see what happens with the Chiefs here in the next coming weeks. Again, if they lose next week to the Colts, I think it will officially be. I just don't see the tiebreaker situation is gonna do them any good if they lose next week. Um, that loss of Jacksonville is gonna absolutely be killer. So, anyway, thanks for watching it. Hope you like this video. Leave a comment down below. Um, if you're a fan of Denver, you're a fan of one of these other teams, let me know what you think of your teams. And I know you hate my team, which is fine. It's no big deal. I don't hate you because of it. But let me know what you think of your team and what you think of the overall outlook of the AFC is this year and where you kind of see things going. I think New England is looking pretty good. Um, but man, I don't see any team in the AFC that's really head and shoulders above anybody right now. I think a lot of the top teams right now are schedule driven. Their records are, and honestly, this might be the year that the Buffalo Bills finally get it done. Even with their lackluster performance last week and their inability to even stop the Buccaneers today, even though they got a win due to Josh Allen's 6 touchdowns today, um, maybe this is finally the year the Bills get over the hump because the Chiefs shoot themselves in the foot. So, all right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.